Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. And I'm back from the holiday. We're getting back in the swing of things. All my family has left the house, so let's jump right on into these charts. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the Ripple XRP price chart. We're going to take a look at the Bitcoin price chart. We're going to peek around the rest of the market. So, obviously, it's a really exciting time in the cryptocurrency market when it comes to what Bitcoin is doing. Are we leading up to these altcoin seasons, getting ready to take off for the entire cryptocurrency market? Ripple, XRP, the kind of dealing with its own thing, waiting for a little bit more information to come out this week. For me, in regards to Ripple, in regards to the XRP price chart, I'm really just looking to see how this monthly candle is going to end. You guys have been around for this channel for a while. 30.5 cents has been a big deal, so we'll peek at that for a minute. But for the most part, we're going to take a look at the entire market right here because it's an exciting time in the cryptocurrency market. We just got done with a holiday period, and so let's take a look at what has happened in the crypto market. Bitcoin has gotten up to nearly $28,000, really just kind of peaking it and poking it. But now the big question is, what is going to happen in regards to some type of a pullback? I fully expect that a pullback has to happen, even if Bitcoin is going to fire all the way up to the upside and just go straight to $80,000 and leave the altcoins behind. I would still expect some type of pullback in Bitcoin heading back to near where the all-time high was. For those who have followed this channel, we've looked at this structure right here in regards to a fractal structure for expecting how high Bitcoin could go. When it comes to figuring out how high this market can go, I like to use fractals and I like to use Fibonacci extensions. So the Fibonacci extensions are going to take us out to the same place where my expectations and how I'm playing my cards in this market are going to be, where Bitcoin's going to get up somewhere near that $70,000 to $80,000 price point. The big question is, will it follow this type of structure, or will we see something more like in 2017 where we kind of see just kind of a meandering pullback back down into here as the altcoins begin to start to take off at this time? Or do we see something more of a straight line down and a straight line back up, in which the altcoins don't really start getting rocking and rolling until these times up in here? So I'm going to show you the state of where we're at currently. I've now switched over to charts.cointrader.pro, and what I've done is overlaid the 2017 beginning of the bull market on top of our current market. And you can see from a time perspective, from a growth perspective, really we've done everything kind of just in the same amount of time, right? Here we are back up above the all-time high, as we should be. Question is, you can see there's a couple of things going on over here. Are we going to see something like that where we have just kind of a pullback, back up, then the alt season doesn't really start till over here? So it's kind of a confusing time period right now, and we're just going to have to kind of wait and see how this is going to play out. But as for growth, as for getting to where the market cap had gotten when the previous mid-cycle alt season started in 2017, we are there. And you can even see this. This is the market cap, right? So this is the total market cap of Bitcoin. This is not the exact price per Bitcoin. It's what the total market cap of the whole Bitcoin market is. In both bear markets that we had, we pulled down an equal amount. We pulled down 83% both times, and then now we've grown the same amount. It's been pretty wild to see that this has happened in the exact same percentages throughout the entire time of Bitcoin. I know a lot of times, sometimes people have mixed emotions on fractals and percentages and repeats, but well, you can clearly see sometimes we do get very clear repeats, and we've had that happen over here with Bitcoin, and it has even done it from a time perspective that we're breaking out into new highs at the same times that we were breaking out into new highs during the last cycle. As of right now, nothing has been determined in regards for me to make the call for myself, right? I have two strategies that I'm going to play. I'm either going to play a strategy where I expect for there to be two different alt seasons, or I'm going to play a strategy where I expect there to only be one alt season, and that's going to depend on me selling into US dollars or me selling into Bitcoin and then getting back into altcoins again later. Right now, I'm kind of waiting on edge for that moment right here. Are we going to see a big pullback in Bitcoin with no altcoin takeoff? Or are we going to see more of a kind of a rollback down to the all-time high, watching the altcoins start to take off in this time period? While we have followed this from a time perspective and a growth perspective, this thing continues to stay on my radar, and I cannot let go of it because I have to be prepared for that type of situation to play out, in which Bitcoin would have a major breakout and wouldn't take the altcoins with it. A lot of times people get really worried, right? On August 28th, I had posted on my Twitter, what would you do if Bitcoin broke out a new all-time highs, 20,000, 30,000, etc., and XRP stayed down there at 30 cents? I had already kind of prepared my mind for that type of thing could possibly play out. Never in my mind could have I ever dreamed that the SEC lawsuit would happen at a perfect time on the XRP price chart and towards Ripple, right? Never could I imagine that that would play out. But just just the idea of, hey, you know what? We've seen it before where Bitcoin does take off without these altcoins. And how can you play the market in that scenario? Is the best case to do do you just panic and you just sell out of your altcoins and chase Bitcoin as it's breaking out into new all-time highs and not taking the altcoins with it? Or do you just sit back patiently and continue to wait even if it hurts a little bit? And for me personally, as long as Bitcoin continues breaking out higher, I still don't make any changes to what I'm doing with my altcoins. I own a little bit of Bitcoin. I own altcoins. Altcoins massively outweigh my portfolio compared to Bitcoin. I think one of the optimistic things we can see right here on the right side of the screen is to at least have a green day in this market. We're looking for that to happen. We're looking for big green days to start showing up on this chart if we're going to follow something from 2017. If there is going to be some type of mid-cycle alt season that does happen, we're at that price level. And the alt season didn't start down here at the bottom. For a couple of coins it did, like XRP did not start until this moment way over here. But for most of the market, the alt season began as Bitcoin was falling. So we're at that moment right now. We're ready to start seeing if we're going to have a mid-cycle alt season and then have an end of cycle alt season sometime later in the year or 2022. I can't predict time like that, but looking at it right now, are we going to get one at this moment, or are we going to see Bitcoin break up much higher and then get the alt season a little bit later? So I'm really on edge to see what's going to happen right here in regards to the altcoins. One of those interesting things about the altcoins is that when we've looked at this fractal, the one that started the 2016 and 2017 bull run, and how here we are working out this area just like we worked it out last time, how the growth rate was all the same, how the pullback occurred at the same spot, and here we are working out this area, and some type of big blast for these altcoins right here in this total altcoin market cap would get it up into an equivalent place where Bitcoin is currently. So it's kind of this on edge moment of right here. Is this about to see, are we about to see some massive catch up that happens in the altcoin market compared to Bitcoin as Bitcoin kind of gives a roll back and you know, we see the same thing going on with Bitcoin. Are we going to see the same thing with the altcoins? The really tricky part about this market right now, right here, is if you do just actually go based off of any type of fractals that took place in this time area, you could see there was a trick right here. So here we are talking about this structure, right? And this structure does come back and touch the all-time high, and it does it with a straight line down, right? What if we don't see an alt season happen and we see this straight line down? But at the same time, it was just this tricky move before leading up to this and then finally starting the alt season. So it's a really complicated time period right now, right? What we're looking for is that as the price starts falling back from here, that we see alts start to really take off. And then if we get a straight line down, it still kind of leaves us in that kind of, which one are we still at, right? Are we still at, we have to do some type of structure kind of like this here at the end, or we're doing something like this. But either way, the one that would kind of give the clearer picture would be as if we saw Bitcoin just rolling down as it comes back to back test the all-time high and we see the altcoins start to take off. That would signal we're in an alt season. Either way, whether or not impatience is going to play into your cards right now, if you're just kind of like, I need an answer now, I need to know right now, just look at the whole picture of the crypto market, right? I get it. Some assets are having a hard time right now, especially XRP is having a hard time with the stuff going on over there. But from a general perspective of the whole market, we're in a bull market. The market is grinding up really high, and sometimes we do have pullbacks. Sometimes they do take a couple of weeks to play out, sometimes a couple of months to play out. But the grand picture of it, especially for the people who have been here through all of this is 3 years of going through all of this. So we're looking at this period. If we have to do something more like that, you're looking at a couple of months. For some people, the new people who have come into this market, a couple of months is kind of like, geez, really a couple of months? I'm looking at, when I bought this, I was thinking right here, right now. But that's just not how it has worked at any period throughout any of this, that it just happens where you happen to come in, you bought a big green line, and the green line continued flying to the upside, and you were a millionaire in a week. It just doesn't work like that here. And big pullbacks, big scary pullbacks are all part of the game. But the thing that we have right here with this particular pullback is whether or not Bitcoin's going to come back to the all-time high, and we're in the mid-cycle alt season. So if we have 2 alt seasons in this market, the percentage opportunity for rewards in this market substantially increases. Now, the reward opportunity is already gigantic, right? In the thousands of percents or whatever off the bottom there. But when you're looking at it like this, where you have opportunities to kind of go with the flow, go with the ocean as the ocean flows. The tide comes in for the altcoins, and then the tide goes out for the altcoins and goes back into Bitcoin. Then the tide comes out of Bitcoin and back into the altcoins. That's kind of what we're looking for right here. It's very rare in this market that you have Bitcoin and altcoins all taking off together. It's very, very normal to see the kind of tide analogy where the money keeps pouring into the market, but it flows to different aspects of the market. Right now, clearly it has flowed to the Bitcoin portion of the market. Now we're waiting to see, is it now time for it to flow to the other way? And that's what we're all waiting on right here. I have no doubt in my mind we will eventually see that tide flow back towards the altcoins. Just figuring out the timing of it, there's just specific scenarios we have to look for. One of them is right here, right now, in this area, as it has a rollback and a tide kind of roll out, rather than just a straight line down. A straight line down still leaves us some confusion. It still leaves us some confusion on whether or not we are going to come back up and then do the alt season, or is that straight line down going to send Bitcoin just absolutely skyrocketing much higher? So these are the things that I'm looking for. These are the things that I mentally prepare myself for. I know a lot of people want, exact calls, and they want it to be exactly, make the prediction and get the prediction right. And in the end, sometimes you just can't do that. You have to have the scenarios played out in your mind of which ones could happen, because if you can wish for one to happen, and then if it doesn't, well, what's the backup plan? Panic, sell, freak out? No. Have a backup, have an understanding of, well, this was the scenario as well. So these are the things that I'm looking for right now. And either way, for me, the market just looks incredibly bullish, and alt season is around the corner. Whether or not it's a mid-cycle alt season, or if Bitcoin's going to double itself in a matter of a week or two, and then we have the alt season. Either way, alt seasons aren't too far away. Just where in the market cycle will we be when it happens? That's what we're all waiting to find out right now. But either way, it's still incredibly exciting. As for looking around at the rest of the market, taking a look over here at the Ripple XRP price chart, we were not able to get our weekly candle close above 30.5 cents. There still is the monthly candle close there left to be able to close above that price level. I have this little red box drawn right down in here where you can see kind of this gapping area where the candles closed above this level or closed below this level, and this is kind of the no man's zone right here in this little area. But above 30.5 gets us for sure above what used to be a support level and above a resistance level. So for me, looking for the XRP price chart, looking for technical optimism on here, I'd be looking to see that December 31st, 11:59, as it clicks over to the new year and we close out the monthly candle, we close out 2020, that XRP closes the price above 30.5 cents for technical optimism. Obviously, there's a lot going on with XRP. There's a lot going on with Ripple. Huge SEC news dump. It's such a crazy time for XRP and for Ripple right now, because it's this huge mix of how anybody should feel about this. As somebody who has totally been against the news for so long, I see people say it all the time, the world's a stage. A lot of the stuff is theatrics, and boy, do I agree with that so much, that so many things are theatrical, so many things are timed. We're all just watching television. All the events that we see happen, we're all just watching them happen as they're supposed to happen, and we're all just a little sheep being guided in the directions that we're supposed to be guided in. Who knows if that's exactly what's going on right here as the XRP over Bitcoin price chart reaches its bottom, as XRP's way down here. We don't get this terrible news up at an all-time high price, right? You get it right down there near the lows, and you get the shakeouts occurring down at those price levels. But then at the same time, you look at this document and you see how many ethical questions come into concern, about the character of the players with Ripple, right? Whether or not any of that's true. I always try to make that statement and give Ripple the benefit of the doubt that they absolutely, this is all accusations. They have the right to defend themselves, and they can come out and deny everything and prove it. But at the same time, we only have one side of the story right now, and Ripple has not come out to face those allegations of questionable ethical conduct in regards to selling massive amounts of XRP and using market makers to manipulate the price. So we don't have a response for them on that. Sure would be nice to get some type of response from them regarding any of that. And in particular this week, unfortunately, we have another holiday this week, right? We have the New Year's Eve and New Year's, and of course that's on Thursday and Friday again, which leads into another weekend. And here we are at the end of the year, so a lot of people have just taken extended vacations, right? Christmas week along with New Year's week off to take off the remainder of the year. So how much information will we truly truly get right here, and whether or not all of this theater is just theater, right? And is that really all it is? There's the timing of everything, how it played out with an SEC chairman doing it the day before he resigned, all that stuff, all of it just opens the door for lots of conspiracies, right? You can't blame people for saying something smells funny, something isn't right, because it doesn't feel right. Something does smell funny about the whole thing, and it's just such a personal judgment call on how you handle something like that, when you have not only questions of whether XRP is a security, but whether or not there's questionable behavior out of Ripple, the company, who also has ownership of most of the XRP digital assets. So it is a completely crazy, wild time. Whether or not things are happening at timed events are occurring, whether or not everything in that thing is actually accurate in regards to that 71-page document from the SEC, time will tell. The only thing I can do at this point is sit here and do what I always do, right? I hold on, I wait for my targets to hit, I don't sell into panic, and I look for technical optimism. And the technical optimism for me would be to see that we could close the year out, close December out above 30.5 cents. If so, we could still hold on to the fact that it was just the absolute craziest shakeout back test of the breakout of a price level that held us down for a year and a half, and also was a price level that was resistance in 2017, support in 2018 and 19, and of course resistance in 2019 and 20, and was just an absolutely epic back test of complete fear and panic. Until then, we don't know. So really, in regards to things to say about the XRP price chart, there's not going to be much to say until January 1st. And you can believe me, I'll be here watching this price chart, watching it as that day ends, December 31st, to see what type of price level we close at. But boy, fingers are sure crossed for 30.5 cents, because then from a technical structure on the chart, if this candle closes right up here, then what do you have? You have a big old breakout with a nasty, epic, hard back test of support, which would have held. So we wait for it. We wait for that time to come. And hopefully during that time period, or shortly thereafter, we get some more clarity on everything, and a lot of people's minds can be put at ease. But until then, until December 31st, that's what we're waiting on. And there just isn't much to say about this chart until then. But meanwhile, we wait for the rest of the market, the total altcoin market cap, preparing for its opportunity to break out and hit the new all-time highs, just like Bitcoin has, which also leads to the suspicion. And man, I don't blame people for going down conspiracy rabbit holes and for going down all these different theories and ideas and what's true, what's not true in regards to Ripple, in regards to XRP, because when you look at what's going on in this market and you look at the structure of where XRP was at, it is such suspicious timing. It is so odd and so weird. I just really wish we could get some more clarity out of Ripple to take a posture, to take a stance in regard to specific ethical questions that were brought up during that charging instrument. If they could do that, I think they could put a lot of people's minds at ease outside of just the whole is XRP a security stuff, but whether or not Ripple the company can be trusted, and to clear people's minds in regards to the allegations that were made in there about the CEOs and the company itself. Because right now, this market looks super exciting. And if we do have this breakout right here in the total altcoin market cap, we're not looking at baby rises here. We're looking at a monstrous rise over here. And I'll just draw it like this so we can see it a little bit better. And I'll take it off the log scale of what something like that would look like. It would be a big breakout over there in the total altcoin market cap. And you can see that when it's not on the log scale. So we'll keep our eyes on this throughout the week, and we'll see if we get some more clear direction over here on what Bitcoin is doing. But as for the whole market, it's just a really exciting time for cryptocurrencies, and it's been a long road to get to here. And I know Ripple, I know XRP are dealing with a lot of stuff right now. One has to believe that Ripple has known this day was coming for a long time. They've been preparing a legal team for a long time. They've been in negotiations with the SEC, I'm sure, for a long time on some type of settlement with this. And one also has to question how strange it is that the SEC notified Ripple first before they ended up charging Ripple, and Ripple was the first one to announce that they were going to be charged by the SEC. That's just weird that Ripple would be able to make that announcement prior to the SEC being able to make that announcement. And I watched Brad Garlinghouse on CNBC that day discussing it. I did not see a man who was panicked. I did not see a man who was worried. I saw Brad Garlinghouse acting the way he's always acted. And for me, myself, I have to believe that Ripple's been prepared for this day to come. They've built a legal team to be prepared for this, and we're going to see how this all plays out. And hopefully this doesn't take forever to play out. Hopefully this doesn't take a year or 2 years to play out, but we can get some really good clarity on this in the coming week or two to at least put the market at ease and at least put down some concerns and worries about Ripple as a company. But otherwise, we just keep pushing forward and we keep staying excited about what's been going on in this market because it is absolutely an exciting market here in cryptocurrency. But I'll go ahead and start wrapping this thing up. If you'd like, you can check out my website over here, which is bcbacker.com. I do have 19 videos on here with 4.5 hours of content. I deep dive into the previous Bitcoin bull runs, the different altcoin market cycles, how they've all worked in the past, a lot of the different strategies that I've learned throughout this market in regards to percentages, mathematics, managing my emotions, and of course I talk about my different exit plans that I have in here. You can check this out over here on bcbacker.com. You can follow me over here on Twitter at bcbacker. And well, I know this video came out a little bit later today, but we're going to get back into the swing of things and get back on the regular schedule now that these holidays are all wrapped up. I don't really do anything crazy for New Year, so I don't anticipate there to be any interruptions with how things usually go through that. So we should be right back on schedule now. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you could be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.